Okay, I think one of my challenges in life is that I never want to do the same thing twice. So each time I get the opportunity to be at this type of conference, I never reuse any material I have. I always like, what are we going to talk about now? That's a curse, of course. It takes some time. So the topic that I thought would be interesting, maybe, is like, can we look at something else in our organization? For example, the product department and what they are doing and how they are measuring. And what can we learn from that? And can we draw some insights from that to our field? Because as you know, the challenge when you work with people in culture, HR and such, is that after a while you get very, very, narrow-minded in a way, because you talk with people similar as you, with the same interests, and you do things that you did yesterday, and you do the same the next day and such. But we all know that today, competition is fierce, competition for talent is fierce, we need to innovate, we need to do better, improve, and so on. So that's why I chose this topic. Let's look at inspiration from product and how we can use that to build employee experiences. And my name is Anna Gullstrand, and I work as Chief People and Culture Officer at Mentimeter, and we're actually only a few blocks away here. Mentimeter is an audience engagement platform. I actually heard you talk about it, so some of you maybe know. So basically, it's a platform for leaders who are doing some kind of presentations, workshops, lectures, meetings, where they want to interact much more with the audience and actually get the collective intelligence of the audience into the presentation. Input, voting, word clouds, matrices, and such. So if you haven't tried it, it's free. You just go and try it. And actually, our bigger vision is to make more voices heard in the world. Because we believe that too many people are talking, as I am doing now, and too little people are actually getting engaged in the conversation. And usually, at places like this, same today, there are more competence in the audience than on stage. And that's how it always is. In a meeting room, always more competence among our co-workers than the manager has. Altogether, the intelligence of the group is bigger than the one person and so on. So that's what I'm doing. And we are 240 employees. We have been growing hyper growth. So when I started 2 years ago, we were 70, now we're 240. So lots of challenges. Let's start then. Yay. So let's apply some product-first principles on how we create formative employee experiences, how we can create an engaging company culture, and a strong employer brand. So I'm in a Saas company, software as a service. So when I say product, that is what I mean. Something in the cloud, a subscription service that people can use. So, so for you, it might be something else. For me, it's product department. So we have something at Mentimeter that we do every day, which is called product-led growth. It's great because it actually means the opposite would be like sales, a lot of sales. We do product. Product is the hero, it's freemium, people can sign up by themselves, So basically, it's the product that is leading our growth. We don't need to do a lot of sales or marketing or outbound. So it's a luxury. Maybe this term is new for you, so I'm going to spend a few minutes for you to understand what this is, because we're going to see how this can inspire us in our people and culture work, okay? So, product-led growth, what is it? It is a principle where the product is doing the heavy lifting. So basically, we are obsessed by understanding our users, because the only thing we want to do is to provide value for them. When they get into the product, they need to understand the product, feel, get engaged, get the aha moment, and start using the product. We do heavy investments in the product instead of investing in marketing and sales for the product. So basically, when I joined Mentimeter I'm from a more classic marketing background, being CEO, and I went to Johanna, our marketing officer, and I said oh, it's this huge event. Mentimeter should be there. We should pay so we can be at this event, an event as this event. And she was like, how many users is there on the event? I was like, 5,000? Not worth it. I was like, what? Because the thing is, if we put that money, the same money, into product development instead, that in itself will give us more user than to be on that conference. So everything is like a question, like, should we invest in product? Should we invest in marketing and sales? So if you're thinking, like, what does this have to do with me? Well, this is what we're doing at Mentimeter. Instead of investing in employer branding, being at fairs, whatever, like that type of employer marketing, we instead invest in the employees. We invest the same money in our culture and in our employees. Because if we do that, we get the ripple effect of like the virality, the spread, the great engaged culture where more and more people want to come to Mentimeter. They hear about Mentimeter and such. So basically, we could use 100,000 SEK on some employer branding activities, or we could use the same money to invest in our employees. And we choose to invest in our employees. Okay, so that was that. Self-service mindset. So basically creating an intuitive experience rewarding autonomy. So basically when you log in to Mentimeter, you're supposed to be able to do everything yourself. Understand everything yourself. You don't need a heavy book or contact sales or anything like that. And actually, we use the same approach in the company for our employees. We make all information transparent. We have, am I supposed to, can I mention our the HR tech stack here, or anyone will get like upset because they didn't pay the companies they were using? Okay, we use Guru. Guru is a fantastic knowledge base that lives inside Slack, like it's Teams or whatever you're using. So basically, we put information there. It's easy to search, so all employees can have this self-service mindset at work. Whatever they are thinking about, they can reach that information. It's on their fingertips. Okay, understanding the funnel and caring about every step in it. So if you do product-led growth, you need to understand what's going on in every step of the funnel. People coming to the product, first step, do they activate? Second step, do they do their next presentation? Third step, do they convert to paid user? Fifth step, do they then contact enterprise sales and go into that? We need to understand every part of the funnel, and we're devoting a team for every part of the funnel to make that part better. And we apply the same principles for our employee experiences. So basically, not looking at too much on the whole, instead make sure that we are segmenting enough and understanding the whole employee experience or employee journey. Okay. And then the product built in virality creates exponential growth. So basically, if you do a great product, as we try to do at Mentimeter, then that product will market itself. So every time someone uses Mentimeter, there's of course a viral effect that the audience also like, oh, this was a great tool. I could vote and someone actually listened to me. And then they will start to use Mentimeter, also a few percentage. So basically focusing on building a great product, and then you will get the ripple effect. Same principle for employee experiences. Focus on the employees, focus on the culture, and then you'll have the virality impact of that. So that's like the main idea here. So then it can be interesting to see, like, okay, what do we then measure when it comes to our product department? What do they care about when it comes to analytics? So basically, they care about the NPS, like, would you recommend Mentimeter as a product to a friend or acquaintance? They care a lot about engagement and motivation. Is it providing value? Do people actually feel that I got something back from this? Are they engaged? They care a lot about retention, because in product and in our world, it's more expensive to find a new customer. Yes, it's more expensive to find a new person coming in. It's much more cheaper to keep the people we already have, or keep the users we already have. Okay, they care a lot about conversion rates. Are we getting the user through the funnel? Where do we have hiccups? That is what they do. And then they care about the viral loops. And of course, they care about the stability and the resilience of the product and the platform. Will it perform over time? is it performing? So how can we then translate this into our work? Let's see. The third thing they care a lot about in product is actually money. So basically, of course, what we're measuring daily, what we talk about daily in the company is not money, it's not revenue, not that much. We talk much more about this. This is what engaged people, these are the targets that are fun to work with for all the different teams, that they actually can like do work and see their impact. Of course, those numbers are related to money. If we, the conversion rate gets better, then revenue is higher and such. So we are of course connecting everything to money, everything to increasing revenue, decreasing cost, and also we think about like long-term, mid-term, short-term perspectives. The resilience part is tough because in tech, you maybe have a foundation that you need to change. Like we have this programming language, we need to change to that one. It's a big investment. So it's those kind of big questions. I think we have the same in people and culture. Like these bigger things, you don't really want to look there, but you know that you need to do something about it, and it's going to be expensive, To dare to take those decisions, that's tough. And then here, they talk a lot about resilience, which in people and culture, then I think about well-being, about stress levels, about the things that we know, if this will keep on for day and day and day and day, it has a very negative long-term impact. People will quit, people will go on sick leave, and such. So like what kind of investments do we need to do in that to prevent that we're not ending up in a huge org people depth instead of tech depth? Okay, so what would this approach then mean for our work within people and culture? What do we look at? What do we try to look at Mentimeter? So yes, we have employee NPS. Maybe you also have it as one number that we actually can like report to the board, to the management team, that gives us some kind of idea if how we're tracking. However, that number says nothing, as you know. So we need to go deeper down. So what we do is we check engagement and well-being. And we do, for us it's important to focus on what has the most impact. It's very easy with data, as you know, that you get all the data and it's like, wow, I got so much data. And then that's not, the hard part is to know where to look and only focus at one thing at a time, more or less. So we check what has the highest impact, and we also do a lot of segmentation. My colleague Chris is here. Hey, Chris. We are very happy this week because we just changed our employee engagement system, so now we have much better data than we had before. So I haven't seen that many smiles on Chris' faces. Yeah, it's been great. So basically, a tool where we can go deep down for segmentation. It's very clear at Mentimeter that we can't talk about the Mentimeter culture anymore. We're 240 employees. I know you, bigger companies, can't do it either. Like, okay, we need to go down on department. Oh, we can't talk about department anymore. The spread is too big. We need to go down on team level. Oh my, we can almost not talk on team level anymore. So basically, we have departments performing difference. If you look at a single department, we have teams performing very different, very high spread. So we need to go deeper down. Of course, this is nothing that I expect my team to do. This needs to be distributed. The ownership needs to be where the data needs to be as close to the people that is impacted by the data as possible. So I will tell you a bit more about that. Retention and stickiness, do people want to stay? Do they develop and grow? I would say that growth and developments, for us at least, is the single, it has a very high impact on engagement. Viral loops, of course, if we have this great culture, how do we make sure that people then actually share the culture? How can we make people feel, employees feel like, oh, I'm out on LinkedIn, I'm out on social media. It's not representing the company, it's actually representing me, representing my career, and representing the experiences I have every day. And then stability and resilience, well-being, stress levels, and all those things, where we also see that it's very hard to do initiatives on the big scale. We need to go much more like deeper to understand where we have the challenges. Very different challenges with stress and well-being in different departments and in different teams. Okay, so I think my main takeaway that's important, that we really, like this is a strategy that is so important for me, and that is that we in the people department, it's not our data. It's actually the opposite. We need to put the data on people's doorstep, as the milk. You come home in the morning when no one has this anymore, but I would love to have it. Okay, you open the door, there's milk. Fresh milk, I need to drink it. Nice. That's how we should do with data. So basically what we are doing is, instead of asking people, in this case I mean team leads or department heads, instead of asking them like, you need to look at this data, that's not what we're asking them. We're asking them for insights and actions. To be able to give insights and actions and present to their team, they need to look at the data. We never ask for the data. Data is not interesting. It's the, yeah, we know that data is interesting, but you know what I mean. It's the insights and actions that is important. So let's ask for insights and actions and never ask for data or reports. So we have a system now where we actually can distribute data in a very smooth way. So as, for example, when we have done an employee survey, we do it company-wide, but then in one click, we can distribute it to all the people who actually need to own it and have it closer to their team. And then we also say to the team, now you got the data, we want some insights and actions. Actually, we don't want it. People in culture doesn't want it. They want it. They are going to work with it. And they're sometimes coming back to us like, should we present for you? No, present for yourself. What do you want to do? So like distributing the ownership and making sure that these conversations are happening around the company instead of sitting as some kind of like, I ask you to do this, you need to come back, deadline, you know? Then we become that very, very non-inspiring HR department sitting somewhere that people only think that we are like a pain in the ass. So basically, yeah, we need to like transfer the whole idea here. And that's what we're trying to do. Real-time, accurate, impossible to ignore. Let's put it on the people's doorsteps. Segmentation is key, of course. So basically, what we talk a lot about at Mentimeter, which is also like a mindset thing, is that we design, if we have a bell curve, we design our guidelines for the bigger part and not the edge cases. This is actually very similar to product. In product, you get a lot of requests, like people who have very specific needs or specific problems, they tend to write to our support and be very like, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, you know, very loud. It's the same, actually, in our field, that we have some people on the edges that have very specific requests and needs, and they're also very loud. Yeah? So we train our managers and leaders all the time to, like, not ignore, we of course need to listen, but just like put it into perspective. Because it's very, very easy to just focus on that and think that that is the reality. It's not. So that's like a training we need to do, or a mindset shift that we need to do. So what we have learned is that we always need to go one level deeper in the data. We do less of company-wide rollouts, and instead more of distributed ownership on departments and teams. So they get access to what they need to be able to improve. Focus on impact. So basically what I said, this is a screenshot from our tool. So basically, very nice that the tool actually provides us with insights, so we don't need to find them ourselves. So we are relating the data to, of course, to the market, comparisons. So we're not ending up like having competition between departments. Instead, we actually want to compete with the market, yeah? And then also focus on the things that has very high impact. And as you see, this is very fresh. It was only a few days ago. Our biggest opportunity now for Mentimeter is to clarify career opportunities and like progress in career and development goals. Very classic hyper-growth. People are very confused. So many things are happening. The person I recruited is now my boss. All those kind of like challenges. So, yeah. And then what? Yes. So when we know then what will have the biggest impact, a few things maybe overall, a few things for department levels, a few things for the teams. What do we do then? So I think here comes maybe here is where our competence in the people and culture team gets very important, because we are obsessed of understanding people, not listening to what they need, because what they need are very specific and very sometimes strange. Instead, go one step back and lean on research, theories, positive psychology, intrinsic motivation, research about the brain. How does our brain work? We have a brain that's basically 4 million years old. We're acting as we were in a tribe still. What does that mean? So we help our teams to go a step back and really understanding needs, because this is where the creativity come in. What do we do then? How can we improve this? So, yep, the Henry Ford quote is, what is it? Someone? People don't need people. If I asked people, they would say they wanted. No, they need. What is it? It's like, come on, someone knows it. It's so famous, but now I forgot it. Thank you. If I ask people, they say they wanted a faster horse. Thank you. And Henry Ford, he is the inventor of the car, or one of the inventors. So basically, don't ask people, then they say they want a faster horse. Go a step back, what do they want? They actually want to go from this point to that point as fast and smooth and possible. Let's do the car instead. So it's the same here. Do not deliver on what people ask for, deliver on what they truly need, and design from an understanding of fundamental human needs. And to be able to do that, we need to be super close to people. Like conversations, having a lot of conversations. I think our lunch is one example. We have free lunch at Mentimeter. If we would ask people what they wanted, guess how many lunch alternatives we would have? Yeah? A lot. So basically, and I know companies who has a lot. There's like this very, very big buffet with everything you might want, cold and everything. What we did instead was like, yeah, we're going to have lunch. We believe in lunch. We believe in inclusiveness, building relations. That's important for us. We actually think that the magic that happens during lunch will impact innovation and so on. But we designed the lunch with one course. It's vegetarian/vegan. It's one course. It's the same for everyone. And actually, people are super happy about that. If we would have asked what they needed, we would have 100 different plates. Okay. This one is also a mindset that's super important for us at Mentimeter. That when we work in people and culture departments, it's very easy that we start to talk about the employees. We have done this survey. Now we know that the employees need, want, whatever. Who are we then? We are employees. Yeah? And I think this is the single word that puts us disconnected from the organization. Super dangerous path to go into. When people and culture HR start to talk about the employees. You are the employees. Let's say we. We have done this amazing survey. This is what we say. This is what we want. Yeah? Distance is dangerous. This is the corridor. You get it. So, yeah, perfect. 5 minutes left. This is the summary. Or no, it's not the summary. It was one before. So we also do a lot of iterations, experiments, evaluations. So basically, we don't know the solutions. We know a lot about the theory behind. We don't know the solutions. So then we decide for one metrics for a team, for a department. We try different things. We measure 4 months later, improve. And that's the only way to go about it. And then, of course, to have this short-term, mid-term, long-term thing, because a lot of things that we work with in people and culture are beliefs and values. It takes a lot to a mindset. It takes time to change. So like to always never like lose, it's easy to lose energy because nothing has happened. But we need to have some patience. Viral loop. What about the viral loop? So very clear what I said in the beginning. Invest in your employees, experience journey, growth development, culture and core values, and then you will get a lot back. So basically, we invest a lot. We actually moved the whole company to another European city once a year. So we were in Barcelona, everyone, 1 month in March. Here's the dinner from Barcelona. And like those kind of things gives us a lot of like impact on our employer brand. Summary. Focus and invest in your employees. Be transparent. Put the data on everyone's doorstep. Find the tools that makes you look at impact and gives you the opportunity to segment a lot. And then distribute ownership. And then do not spread yourself too thin and always say, we. Thank you.